Hello, Chesney writes. What do you do when your queen is safe but paralyzed? Magnus Carlsen was up in material, but his queen had no future, constantly attacked, boxed in, and running out of squares. Most would try to hold on to that, but Carlsen, he sacrificed it and still took over the game. So let's dive into how he turned this mess into the mastery. So Carlsen has white pieces here, and he's playing against Grandmaster Mikhailevsky. Mm, Carlsen has the queen for rook and knight of Mikhailevsky, and it looks like great position, simply winning position for him. But things are not as easy. And why is that? We'll see. So Carlsen in this position played the move rook takes e6. He just won the pawn. Now it may seem like the win is ever closer, but Mikhailevsky is actually quite a resourceful player, and he found the idea rook b2 check. Carlsen's king went to c4. Okay, big deal. It's not like Mikhailevsky can do much. Now, some of you would be thinking that maybe Mikhailevsky tried to do rook c2 and then maybe rook b4 check tricks or something, but that would also not work because rook c2, then there is a simply rook b6 type of ideas. What did he have in mind? He played the move rook e2. First, it might seem like just some normal move that attacks the queen, and Carlsen can bring the queen somewhere and then he will escape. And because of this pass pawn, because of this rook, this king is also not that weak or something that Mikhailevsky can create counterplay. This should be an easy win for Carlsen. But think for a bit in this position and try to find out how will the queen escape. Because let's say if the queen goes to g1, then there is rook g2. If the queen goes to b1, then there is rook b2. If the queen goes to d1, then there is rook d2. If the queen goes to b3, then the same stuff actually. Wherever the queen goes, these rooks will follow. What is going on? The queen is actually boxed in. Queen has a lot of squares to go. That's not a problem. But as long as those rooks are attacking the queen, that's a problem for Carlsen. So despite having this much material, it's an issue. So rook b2, and it seems like, wait, what will Carlsen have to repeat the position by constantly moving the queen, and then will this end in a draw? At first it seems so, but Carlsen found a nice resource. He was not happy with just moving the queen around and accepting the draw. He's like, all right, my queen is boxed in. That's fine, but I have this active king. I have this pass pawn, and I have an active rook as well. And that will be enough for me to win the game. And he sacrificed the queen. So queen takes e2. And then in this position, rook takes e2. Now Mikhailevsky, of course, has an extra piece. But as I mentioned earlier, because of this active king, this pass pawn, Carlsen is confident that he will be able to handle the things. And then he played the move rook takes e6. He won the pawn. Now he has two pieces. So, sorry, two pawns for the piece. And this knight is being attacked. And now, if Mikhailevsky plays the move king f7, just improving the king's position and defending the knight, attacking the rook, looks like a great move. But Carlsen has the move rook takes g6, and this is lost. After king takes g6, Carlsen is threatening to play c7 and then just promote. And Mikhailevsky has the rook, but he has no way to stop the pawn, because after this c7, this is covered. Rook b2 also c7, this will be covered. Rook f2, this pawn is there, so it's not like he will be able to go there. Rook c2 check is also not there because this pawn is actually sheltering that. It would be lost. That's a problem, and he cannot in this position. King f7 is not possible. Mikhailevsky has to play knight f8. Carlsen gets another pawn. Now he has three pawns for the piece. Active king, and that pass pawn is also there. So Mikhailevsky actually plays the move king f7, tries to activate the king. Carlsen pushes the pawn. Knight e6 gets played. Carlsen captures another pawn. Now he has this pass pawn as well. Then king e7. Now, Mikhailevsky is trying to bring the king to d6 on the queen side to stop those pass pawns. Carlsen is like, I'm not going to allow that. Rook d5 cuts off the king. And rook e3 gets played. So Mikhailevsky is actually targeting the king side pawns of Carlsen. But Carlsen is not worried. He's like, my target is to push my queenside pass pawns. So he gets the rook on the 7th rank with a tempo. And Mikhailevsky plays king e8. It's time to push, pass pawn. Mikhailevsky can of course win these pawns, but one of these pawns will promote, and that will be enough Carlsen to win. Rook f3, a6, a7. So there are ideas of a7. And if, so let's say if rook f1, a7, rook a1, something like this, then rook b7, rook b8 can also happen. This is lost. Knight d8 was played by Levski, and then in this position, Carlsen just simply played rook takes d8, and Levski resigned because king takes f8, a7. There is no way for black to stop Carlsen from winning. A really nice example. So it was quite a resourceful play by Mikhailevsky. By the way, why he gave the check is also important, because if the king is not on c4 and if rook e2 is played, then after queen d3 maybe. So the queen will sort of escape. So he's like forcing that king to go to c4. Now the escape squares of the queen are covered. So constant attack will happen as we saw earlier. But Carlsen is like, all right, let's sacrifice. And then he won the game in a pretty convincing manner with the help of his active rook, pass pawns, and that active king. Thanks everyone for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.